Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And come on, I see you, come on. It's not that hard. Is to come on out and you can visit Starlight out here and let's go take a hike. And anyway, I love you all, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can give my videos a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't be afraid, don't be shy, swing by and say hi Starlight by leaving Starlight a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share these videos with your family or friends. A homeless person, please. Or if you got family, you know, these are great videos to share with homeless people, or even, you know, a dog down the road. And besides that, you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So today's video, I haven't talked about this in a while, and it's really needed. And because there's a whole lot of people, and this video is for anyone that is living on the street or living in a car or an RV or anything like that. And so this will help you in so many different ways. And first, what I want to talk about is how to stay clean being homeless. Now, with that being said, I'll tell you what, it depends on your situation and what you're going through. What I mean by that is it depends on if you're staying in the same place, you know, the same town or the city the whole time, or like Starlight, if you're traveling. So this will help people like who are just in the same town, or people that go from town to town or city to town, or you know, you never know where you're going like Starlight. So I had to learn the hard way to be able to create this video for you. And Starlight, like I mentioned on my other videos, I started being homeless before I turned 16, and different times throughout my life, and God was just preparing me for this moment here. I am on a mission with God right here. So this is not this is something that God has arranged for Starlight. So I don't want you to feel bad about Starlight being out here. This is a part of being a Christian. Sorry about this. And living for God and being used of God. I signed up for this, asking, you know, like I gave my life to God, and for God to use me wherever God feels fit for me to be. And that is what I'm doing, is to be a voice to the voiceless. And Starlight has a huge heart for the homeless people. So on this YouTube, this video here, to help the homeless people about how to be clean or stay clean, it can be very challenging. Now, I'm going to start off with the people that are in the same area all the time. They never go anywhere. They're just there. There's different ways that you can clean up, and depending on you and what your beliefs are and where you feel comfortable. And Starlight, these are things that you got to check out, you know, on your own. In this way is they do have a 211 number, and that would be the first thing that you're going to want to call. Or you can go to food pantries and ask anywhere you go. Or some of you, Starlight is not going this direction, but if you go to DSS to get government assistance, ask for anything that you know, write this stuff down, you know, have a piece of paper, get a piece of paper somehow or another, so you don't forget the questions that you have, because that can happen, that you might have so many things going on, like how to get your laundry done, how to, you know, clean your body. And so some places have showers, so you got to call the 211 number. And sometimes this works for Starlight, most of the time it doesn't, and I will explain why. Is most of the time it doesn't work for Starlight to go somewhere to take a shower is because normally they're in a bad city area, and it it will have a lot of people, like a lot of people that have toxic energy, or there will be a lot of homeless people that live off the street, and of course they need to shower, right? And this is something that really everywhere in the United States, people need more help in this area because there's not enough help for homeless people, no matter what their situation is to stay clean. To me, my opinion is where they have parks, when they have the space, they really need to build like something for the homeless people, so then there's showers. I went to one place like that. They actually had a showers in there because it was a baseball field. That was my greatest experience on this journey, as far as being able to clean up, freshen up every day, have hot water, and clean. You know, this whole thing about why I'm making this video is to clean up after yourself. You know, this is really huge, you know, is because what happens is that, you know, if they need to, you know, get government funds or whatever to build places like this at parks, so then the homeless people in different areas, they can go to a park and there's a shower, and yes, they're gonna have to have somebody to come and clean the shower. But as far as people that go into these showers, please, 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 what you bring in, they got to have garbage cans in these places. So then, you know, if you have dirty things, dirty clothes that you want to just throw away, maybe you're done with it, maybe you don't want to do nothing with it because it's so dirty, maybe you got some clean clothes, sorry, I feel like a bug's back there biting me, is that please pick up your mess and throw it in the garbage can where it belongs, because this is why homeless people have a very hard time making it out here and being clean, is because there's a lot of people that are throwing their stuff around and they're not thinking about other people, and it ruins it for other people. This is why a lot of bathrooms that would have been open are now closed, because people go in whether they're homeless or not and they make a mess, and then those bathrooms get locked up, and now no one, you know, can use those bathrooms. And it's not just homeless people, it could be other people that could have disabilities or some kind of other issue going on, and they're not being thoughtful of other people. And yes, they do need cleaners to clean these places out, but this is so important, is to pick up after yourself. Here's Starlight's squeaky voice. I just went into a bathroom that I don't even want to go in there to use the toilet. The other day, somebody shit their pants and left their underwear and stuck it in the back of the toilet. Somebody's got to go in that bathroom and pick that shit up. So we have to be grateful that there's toilets that we can use. And that bathroom there, Starlight won't use because there's no lock in there, because people ruin it for other people, you know. And so that is a big concern for me. If you want the government to open up more places for showers, then we need to be, you know, grateful that, you know, to have those places to be able to take a shower. Now, when it comes to going into a city area, a city space where there's a lot of homeless people living off on the street, I'll tell you what, if you're going to go that route, if that's the route that you're going to go, as far as, you know, maybe that's where you are, maybe that's the place that you're in, is the city area. Really, Starlight has gone and Starlight has showed up and drove away. I'm like, I'm not going to go in there. Number one, people are there before the time is open. They want to get in there, they want to get their shower first, because if you don't go in there early in the morning, you could be there all day long in line waiting to use a shower. So the government really needs to have more showers available for anyone that needs a hot shower, not a cold shower, a hot, where you can adjust the water so then these people can actually clean. If you don't like the smell of the homeless people, then this is a door that needs to be opened up, because just one shower in the city for, like, I don't even know how they have it in the city. There's times that there might be two, but it's not enough for the homeless people to be able to keep clean. So that is why Starlight believes that they ought to have showers at parks that have the space, that the government can build these up so the homeless people can go in there and freshen up, and so they don't go into public bathrooms like gas stations or restaurants or libraries, because these places are getting upset because that's the only place that they have to freshen up. So when we don't have a space for them to go to take a shower, you're forcing them to go and take a shower or freshen up anywhere that they can. Now, if you have family members, that is another, or a friend, and say, hey, can I use your shower? Same deal. If you have family or friends that know that you're living on the street and they live near where you are located, depending on where you are, is if you ask them, can I use the shower? Please be respectful of those people that are being sweet enough to open up their doors and use the shower. Now, Starlight has had many offers on this journey, but as Starlight being a female, I'm not going to go into a male's house and use their shower, because it's all about my safety. But if you have a relative or a friend that will open up their house for you to use their shower, then you know what? When you go in there, either leave it the way it was when you went in there, or make it better when you get out. Starlight would be the type that, if they didn't mind, can I clean it up before I get in there? That way I can clean it, before. I don't want to jump in a dirty shower, but can I clean this up? And then, I can take care of my body, clean up, and, pick up your stuff. Don't leave the soap bars around and the shampoo bottles around and toilet paper on the floor and your dirty underwear stuck in the corner somewhere, and just walk out and say, hey, thanks for using the bathroom. This is why, it makes it rough for other people like Starlight to even have a shower, because they don't even have enough for the homeless people or anybody in my situation, or living on the streets, or living in RVs. Of course, RVs, most of them more than likely have a way of bathing. The other way that you can freshen up and clean up is, if available, and there's the ocean, but the only problem with the ocean, you definitely want to be able to have where they have a little cold shower outside or inside, where you can rinse the salt water off your body, because it's great to get in the water and swim around. And if you had to use the ocean water to freshen up because there's no showers available, the ocean is good, but you got to be able to rinse that off. And Starlight has actually done this, and I didn't care what anybody thought, is right where the showers are by the ocean, is Starlight just put some shampoo in her hair. I didn't care what anybody said or what they thought, because I needed to be clean. And it was so hot out, and so Starlight was really quick. I was in the ocean first, went and did my swim, got out. And the other way is lakes or rivers, but you got to find out, is these lakes or rivers clean? Are they polluted? Because Starlight went in a place before that the water was polluted, and I started having skin problems because the water wasn't really good. So those are things, and the same thing. Pick up after yourself. Don't leave things a mess. I just was in an area where there was a river, and that is where Starlight bathed. I found a private little area, and I didn't care what anybody thought. I needed to be clean. And the last resource is to use public bathrooms. Now, on this note is, if you're going to use a public bathroom, find one that, there's not at a gas station. Don't go at a gas station thinking that you're going to do this, because there's going to be other people that need to use the bathroom. You don't want to be in the bathroom for 15 minutes while it's going to cause problems. So gas stations are not the answer. But if you could find a bathroom at a park, those are the best that I've found, where they got separate, like it's just where you walk in, there's a sink and a toilet, and there's 2 bathrooms. Those are the best to use, because then that way you're not, there's another bathroom so other people can go in and use the other bathroom while you're getting cleaned up. Now in that case, there's times that what you need to do, or you might have to do, is to, take care of some things you could take care of in like a Walmart bathroom. And there's different ways Starlight has learned to take care of, you might want to, I like going into the big bathroom stalls, like for handicapped people, and I bring like I have a container, and I have a bag, and I have my soap, I have my washcloth, and what I do is I can close myself in that space if I have to use one of those, or if I can find a private bathroom. I don't have to use the bucket, but a little container is great to use. You can even use a water bottle, because in the public bathrooms, like at a park, if there's 2 bathrooms, where you can go in the one, and you can fill up like a water bottle and use that, because sometimes you cannot get your head under the sink to get your hair, and that is what you got to look at. You got to kind of, this is all like, you got to investigate everywhere you go and say, hey, there's a sink in here. Does it have hot water? You'd be surprised, sometimes there's hot water, and that's like gold mine right there, is if you can go in a place and they have hot water for you to use. So if you have so you got to check the space where the sink is. Can my head fit under? You might actually have to squat and see if your head can fit where you can just run the water. If that's not going to work, or if the water's too slow, you're going to want to have like a water bottle, and you can always cut the top off, or even just keep the top on. You don't need to, and fill it up, and get your hair wet, get it lathered up with shampoo, get it really good, spend that time, get it really lathered up really good, and fill up that, especially if you can't fit your head under the sink. That way you got a container, and there's, I don't have one with me, but the Dollar Tree has these little container with lids on. They're perfect for that. Is that it's got a wide top on it and a screw top. Those are perfect, and you can put all your stuff inside of it, your washcloths, your soap, and everything in it, and have a bag where you can actually like to like a backpack, put all your goodies inside that little container, close it up with the lid, put it in your backpack, have your have a towel with you. That is something that you're gonna need, is a towel for your head. You really don't need a towel for your body, but anything that you do need a towel for your head, you can rinse your hair off in the sink, with that container. Of course, empty everything out, fill it up with water, and sometimes it's going to be ice cold water depending on where you go. Just be ready for that. You want to do that in the middle of the day, so that way when you get done rinsing your hair out from all the soap, is that when you go outside, the sun is going to be out, and it can dry your hair off. You don't want to really do that early in the morning where it's still cold out in the morning, and then there's no sun out. So when you do wash your hair in a public bathroom, or when you got to go to a park, always check those parks out. I've actually have cleaned my hair at parks. Nobody was really at the park, and it wasn't just a single, it was just women's, where they had a whole bunch of stalls and a sink, or a couple of sinks. Those are good too, is that you can use it, but Starlight is quick. I look around, I'm like, hey, there's nobody around here. I go in there, I have my container, I have my soap, I have my backpack, I have everything. I am like, I got it down. I don't mess around. I get in there. I don't want people to see me in there, but you know what? I've actually got caught with my hair with soap in it, and you know what? Nobody said anything. What are they gonna say? I need to be clean. And if they do say something, I do have something to say to them in a polite way. hey, I'm sorry, but there's no shower. I need to clean my body up. And if they have a problem, that's not your problem, that's their problem. So you want to be mindful of how long you're spending in the bathroom. Sometimes in situations when using public bathroom, depending on where you go, is cleaning your body is one thing, and shaving and all that, you can do that behind a bathroom stall where nobody sees you. You're in a private area. Please don't do that out where other people are going to witness this stuff. I like using the bigger bathroom stalls so that way I have more space to put my backpack. And you could shave, and I bring a container with me, and what I do is I fill that up in the sink and I bring that behind the large bathroom stall. I even do this at Walmart. I bring a container in there with me. I have my shaver, I have everything all set. I have a way that nobody knows what Starlight's doing in that stall. Nobody even cares. Everybody's doing their own thing in there. But you want to be neat and clean, do your shaving. I take all my clothes off in those rooms. I don't mess around. I do my, I'll do my bottom part first, shave my legs, rinse it off, dump the stuff down in the toilet bowl when I'm done. Don't make a mess. That's the whole point, Shave, freshen up, do whatever you got to do in the order. You want to do things in the order. Starlight's got 3 washcloths, so this is really good to do. Is Ziploc bags, if you can get Ziploc bags. I know you can get Ziploc bags, so get Ziploc bags, get washcloths. I have color-coded washcloths. I have a white for my face. Guess what? I only use that for my face. Then I have another, I have a like a violet washcloth. That is for my private area. That's it. That's for my private area. And then I have a body washcloth, and that is for my body, without my private area. And I carry those, in my car, and I even put them on my dashboard so, I can heat them right up. They're really awesome, and you could put them in your Ziploc bag, and, you can reuse those for a little bit, depending on your situation, and rinse them out every single time, fold them, put them back in your little Ziploc bag, and it will stay moist. There's times that you got to dry them out, air them out, so they don't stink, and I reuse mine many times because it's my body. Nobody else's. I'm not going to use my rag, my washcloth that I use on my private areas on my face. That's why I have it color coded as 3 different washcloths. That way I know where what I'm supposed to be cleaning with what washcloth. So, and a towel is the only time I use a towel is really to dry my hair. So, get some, like a bar of soap to shave your legs, or women, you can use lotion. I didn't know this, but the only thing with lotion is shaving. It does make a nice smooth feel on your legs, but the only thing, it's harder to rinse the lotion out of the shaver. So you really have to kind of beat your razor in the water, or even use your rag, to wash the razor off, so that way you can have a fresh cut when you are shaving your legs. We don't want hairy legs, right? I hope not. But if you like your hairy legs, hey, that's you. But Starlight loves her armpits and things trimmed up and shaved and all that stuff. And guys, like, same thing. You can get a container and shave your face with, when you find a mirror. And Starlight also uses her phone as a mirror, using my camera on my phone. And if I have like something in the bathroom, it's a great way to have a mirror, because most bathrooms do not have mirrors. So, or you can get a mirror somehow or another, and use your imagination how you can use it in a bathroom. But really, if you have your phone, and sometimes you can actually use your phone in a bathroom, but don't drop your phone. If you think you're going to drop it, don't take those risks. It's not worth damaging your phone and losing your phone because it fell and smashed somewhere. So always be mindful of how you do that, if you can do that. And so anyway, these are tips as far as cleaning goes. And like I said, I'm going to say this, is like with the going at the city area, using their bathrooms, you always want to, there's times that you might be able to find a decent shower somewhere, but, like 211 is, you can call up and ask that number and say, hey, you know what, I need showers. Is there showers? Find out the number and the address, get the information, write it down on a piece of paper, the address, write the telephone number, and find out what days they're open, and find out, like, what time do they start. You want to really get in as early as possible when it comes to those showers, because Starlight had to wait half of a day just to take a shower in one location, and they did a marvelous job. They had the place clean all the time, but that place had like two bathrooms in there to actually take showers, and they gave you so many minutes. So you want to make sure, sometimes you might just need to clean your body, the next time you can do your hair. So sometimes, like, that is what Starlight does. I don't do everything in all in one shot most of the time. There's bathrooms I go into, I only go and do my hair that one day. Then the next day I can do my body area, from my head all the way down to my feet, and clean that area. So that way I'm not in there, because it does take longer to do this on foot, in the bathroom, and, hand wash, stand-up bath, or whatever. So you can break those up, and say, okay, today, guys, right now you're just gonna shave your face. Make yourself, just because you're homeless, it doesn't mean that you have to look like a homeless person. So you could go in there the one time, just shave, that's it. The next time you go in, just do your hair. Next time you go in, do your body. Break it up. That way you're not in there for 3 hours trying to do everything, and getting people mad and upset outside the bathroom, depending on where you are. So just be mindful of, other people. Clean up your mess. If you shave, don't leave all this stuff. This is why they lock bathroom doors up in places, because people are being messy and they're leaving their stuff all around. They're not being thoughtful. And do not flush, tampons and pads down the toilets. That should have been a thing that you were taught when you were a kid, when you were young, not to flush that kind of, or other stuff, down in the toilet. The only thing that should be going down the toilet is your number 1 and number 2. And women, yeah, you got blood. So those are, Starlight never used tampons, so I don't know what that, those things just fall out of women. I've had, you go pee and they go boom. So there's probably flushable tampons, I hope, because that is what happens to Starlight. I can't use those things. So Starlight did get personal here with you, but this is for men and women. This is not just for men on this, for homeless. So this is all just about how to stay clean on this video. And you can go and get like soap and shampoo. You can ask at homeless, at shelters, or ask at food pantries, or what, go to a store, stand out in the, I'm sorry to say this, but you need soap. If you don't have money, you're going to have to ask somebody, please, can you help me out? At a Dollar Tree, at a Walmart, wherever they sell soap, and ask, I need help. I need laundry. I need my hair cleaned. I need, and be honest. If you're going to ask for stuff, be honest. This is what I need. Don't be embarrassed that you need shampoo. Somebody's going to help you out and buy you shampoo. Go in the, they might bring you in the store and have you pick out the shampoo that you want to buy. Let them do that. You need shampoo. If you don't have money, and if you don't have a way of cleaning up, don't be embarrassed to ask for help, because some people might not want to give you money. If you need shampoo, if you need a shaver, if you need soap, if you need this, you need a towel, or if you need washcloths, just ask people, you know what, I need to take a shower. I don't have it. Be honest with them. God will bless you and help you out. If you can't find those items out at a food pantry, ask the food pantry place. Say, hey, I need towels. I need this. Write a list down. They will guide you. Have them write it down on a piece of paper, or Put it on your phone if you have a phone. That way you can go to those places and get that stuff. There's places out there that will provide those things, and you don't even have to worry about buying any of it. It's not embarrassing. You need to be clean, and you want to be clean. So you got to really stay on top of this stuff. You know, if you need razors, ask for razors. So don't be afraid to ask for help. God wants to help you out, but you got to be brave enough to put your pride down and ask what you need. I love you so much. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Please, if you have any questions about being homeless, don't be afraid to leave me a message either on Instagram or down below. Ask me. You know, I have been dealing with this. I've learned so much on this, you know, so I'm here to help those that have need for help. So I love you. You can also share this video with your family or friends or homeless people or your relatives. Please share this video, because this is really needed out there. This is a big, huge problem. They don't have enough showers. So don't get mad at homeless people because they're in a public bathroom. What would you do, you know, if you were in their situation? You know, you don't need to know how they got there, but what would you do if you were there? Because it could happen to you. Are you going to just stay dirty? I hope not. It could happen to you. So these are so important. Not to judge those people, but they need to keep their stuff clean and picked up. Yes, I understand that is a big issue, but that's why this video needs to get made. Is please, if you're out there using any public bathroom, please keep your stuff picked up and cleaned up. Even if you go at a river, a lake, or an ocean, keep your stuff cleaned up, because you know, people that are being messy, you're ruining it for other people. That's why the doors are getting locked everywhere in cities, because they are tired of cleaning after people, and they should not have to. So I love you so much. You can also check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So this video is all about how to stay clean. I wanted to talk about so many other topics, but I'm going to have to do those later. So this is all about being clean and how to do it in different ways. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.